same. Pushing me away, cause you're pushing me away. It's early and bright out. The sun swallowed me. It's early and bright out. The sun swallowed me. Share here with me. And the sun swallowed me. And what about your friends? What about your friends? Do they make you happy? What about your friends? Do they make you happy? What's up, Verbal? Are you really a guru with the finances? That's awesome. What's up, J-Rob? And the sun swallowed me. What about your friends? What about your friends, J-Rob? Do they make you happy? And what about your friends? What about your friends? Do they make you happy? And what about your friends? What about your friends? Do they make you happy? You guys, yeah, J-Rob, send me a song request. Slow down and get calm. The air in your chest beats the air that you're standing on. Realize yourself, gonna get calm. Wait, Bradford 134. I remember you. Why do I remember you? Wait, we've talked before.
I don't know.
Wait, have we not talked before?
I don't know. I don't remember talking to you, but...
Oh. You're up here to debate, probably, huh?
Well, I don't know. Whatever you want to talk about, man. I'm just chilling.
Oh,
Just
okay.
chilling.
Do you believe in God, or do you eat meat, or are you
I
pro-life?
do believe in God now. Yeah, but not a religious... There's not a religious bone in my body, bro.
How do you does your God have a name or like properties or something?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, how do you define God?
Yeah, so it's more just logic based. It's more like, well, what I think is logical to me is that I don't think it's possible to have an infinite
Past?
past. Yeah.
Why not? ¿Por qué no?
Right. Well, you can't do it. You can't actually complete that process.
When
So
you say
since
you
you can't
can't do it,
complete
that's
it,
just to say it's impossible, right?
yeah. So since you can't complete that,
Yeah, but you already said that was impossible. I'm asking why think that? Why think you can't complete it?
well, I just told you why, because you can't complete it.
Are you a fan of like getting passed off in conversation to another person, Brett?
I don't. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever.
Yeah, my friend here has a GED in astrophysics, so do you want to talk to him? Zeros?
Oh, sure. Why not?
GED, you're
Yeah, I'd love to talk to him, bro.
You know
I
what a
got
GED
a,
is.
I
Huh?
got a physics degree.
I do too.
Wait,
Wait,
Brett,
but
you have a
wait.
physics degree?
Yeah, of course. Like what? Who do you think you're talking to, man?
I thought I was talking
Oh,
to
you
Brett
think
from
I'm just making this
735.
shit up?
Well, I mean, everything's made up.
Alright, well, whatever.
Brett, are you not a fan of B theory?
Say again?
Are you not a fan of B theory?
B theory?
Yeah.
Explain B theory.
Wait.
B-
Would somebody who has a physics theory know that?
No.
yeah, it's pretty common
No,
with
they wouldn't.
special
No,
relativity.
no, they wouldn't know that. No.
Yes, they would.
Wait,
It's the
well,
No, they
direct
wouldn't.
I have a
You're an
counterexample.
astronomer.
B theory,
no,
like B movie, exactly.
particle physicist. Mr. Right here got it wrong.
Yeah, but no, I'm just talking about a bachelor's degree, bro.
Oh, so
I just said I have a bachelor's degree. I didn't say I was a PhD.
Oh, anyway, so do you want me to tell you what B theory is?
No, I want you to explain it though. Go ahead.
Okay, it's just the notion that all points in time are equally real, and we're all events laid out in this four-dimensional block universe, and there is no objective flow of time. What we perceive as the present is simply our subjective experience of a point in the timeline. And temporal distinctions like past, present, and future are considered relative.
Like your family.
Yeah, but like, do you believe in that?
I believe in that. I'm a B theorist.
No, does he believe in that?
Yeah. Yes, this is so
actually
compatible
believe
with
that's true?
relativity.
So you believe
it's
that's
actually
true?
wait, Oz,
Okay.
can I say a bold statement here?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually so compatible with relativity. I would say that if relativistic speeds make time perception different for the person stationary and the person moving at relativistic speeds, A theory is patently false. Is that right?
Well, actually, yeah. If you think about
Wait,
how
Oz,
it
is that
Yeah.
true?
with relativity, it doesn't.
Well,
That
well,
theory does not work.
Sorry, Brett. 1 second. I'm talking to my friend.
so it sort of, because there's another theory that is experimentally and everything else like relativity, but they have a preferred frame of reference. It's called the Lorentz Aether theory. And if they hold to that, what they could say is that A theory is true because this aether is the single frame of reference of all times are
Yeah,
objective.
but there
that's
is
like-
no single reference.
That's going to be
frame
like
of all-
AETHER.
Yeah.
There
Okay.
is no single reference frame of all time, though.
Yeah, but that's just
No.
to say something.
That's just
No, because that's the fact.
No. Look, do you know the history of the aether? We ruled it out because Einstein
No,
said
because
we
it's a
didn't need it.
bullshit theory. Nobody cares about it.
So you're a B
Dude,
theorist.
I want you to look
I
up the
care
Lorentz
about
Aether theory.
general relativity and special relativity, like things that have been proven true. Like you're talking about bullshit right now.
No, the Lorentz Aether theory is experimentally and theoretically the same as special relativity.
Stupid.
Yeah, B theory is just a theory.
Yeah. Well, it's a bullshit theory and it's wrong.
Wait,
Clearly.
Brett, would you
It's
agree that
wrong.
something can be just a theory?
What?
Like you think you like gravity? Would you say that gravity is just a theory?
No.
Okay, cool. This guy's pretty
No, I
true.
wouldn't say that. Anybody who says that is a fucking moron, a fucking idiot.
I'm sorry. You keep switching from things that I think smart people would say to things that I think uninformed people would say. So I'm really
My
trying to nail
bad.
it
My
down.
bad if I said something that
No, you're good,
made me
you're
look
good.
stupid.
You're good. You're good. I don't think
My
that you're
bad.
stupid.
My bad if I did that.
You're good. I don't think you're dumb. I really don't.
No,
Especially if
I'm
you have a
not-
GED in
I
physics
try,
like
I
O's.
try not to be dumb, because I try not to.
You funny as shit with this GED in physics, dude.
Listen, man, I literally teach this shit.
You do?
Oh my.
Yeah.
There's
man.
no way you teach B theory is bullshit.
Where can
Oh
I
no, I
sign
don't.
up?
Yeah,
Yeah, for
because,
real.
like, B theory is like some off strand type shit.
Okay,
It's
so
pretty
you're
common.
lying about teaching it?
No, I teach physics, like real physics.
Where do you teach at? 3, 2, 1.
I taught at Chaminade High School. I taught at this other school in the Bronx, but
You teach
I don't
relativity.
teach there now because
What
I'm
what
waiting
grade
for my
level?
certification to get through again.
I don't know enough about the field, so I'm just gonna have to say that I believe him.
But it doesn't matter really, like, because when he talks about B theory, you're talking about shit that's beyond high school. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
That's
do you
way
know?
beyond high school. That's actually beyond the undergraduate high school. I mean, undergraduate college.
Well, look, the general like principle of B theory is a little counterintuitive, but it's
Wait,
not like a crazy thing to grasp.
That's not even like shit that you would learn in undergraduate physics.
Sure, it is.
It's like a paper. You're talking about like a paper that somebody wrote, and it's like it's just way out there, you know?
What?
Yeah, that's not something you learn in
wait. If
anything
B
anywhere.
theory, if B theory is true, that you agree you're eventually gonna leave this conversation, right, and do other stuff.
What's
I'm
that?
almost,
Do you agree that eventually you're gonna be doing other stuff and not talking here? Do you agree?
I will. Yeah, eventually I will leave
B theory
here.
would state that that
Right.
point and this point are the same time. Do you understand what that means? Oh, he's gone. Oh, dang.
Well,
you know what's funny is like
I guess B theory
like
is true.
3 years after relativity was even published, I'm pretty sure that's when A and B theory were referred to in writing from distinct things.
Uh,
Like the dude is like
Brett,
JME.
Yo,
Brett, did you see what I did there?
who dropped me?
I did.
You?
It was funny. Yeah,
Oh, that was funny.
because I said eventually you're not going to be
Oh,
talking.
you were trying to like demonstrate exactly what you were saying. I
Yeah,
get
yeah,
it.
yeah,
I
yeah. I said B
That
theory
was
would say
good.
that
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 was a
time
good
when you're not in
one,
this
man.
live and this time of the whatever. It's whatever.
So yeah, you were saying like eventually I will leave here, and you will leave here and do whatever you're doing, and I'll do whatever I do.
Can I ask you a question? And I am not meaning to. I swear I'm not trying to offend you.
Go ahead.
If you're sober right now, just say so.
Yeah.
Are you?
love that for you.
Okay, okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, that was your question. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere with that. Okay.
It's a simple yes or no question.
It just seems like you might be like. I swear, I'm not trying to be any kind of way. It just seems like you might be
may
like.
have had a stroke.
You're gonna have, huh?
Is it possible he may have had a stroke?
No, Jesse. No, that's mean.
Or he just seems a bit elevated.
Oh, like he really seems like he's slurring.
Dude.
I'm not saying anything like that. I was saying that.
Yeah, I did have a stroke in my past. I'm sorry, but it is what it is.
Holy shit.
I wasn't making fun of you. I was asking.
All right. Well, thank you. But I'm still smarter than y'all.
I agree,
Amen.
and I concede.
Why is your intelligence relevant?
Well, I can't. I'm so, bro.
Yeah, we took the L on that one, y'all.
You know, actual smart
Jesse,
people.
that was
don't
crazy
run
to say.
around.
I'm just gonna say that. Okay, that was crazy to say.
Wait, right
Yeah,
here.
actually smart people don't run around going, haha, I'm smarter than you.
What's up,
They
Zero?
don't do that.
Have you looked into C theory? I feel like you would also like C theory.
I feel like some guy I know who, okay, I'll admit he's a high school dropout, but he's Robbie Smalls, okay, not a very smart guy, but he said he's only ever met one person who holds that C theory is true.
I actually haven't met many C theorists.
Oh, you
I
mean
think-
the genius? The genius, Flobby?
Yeah, Flobby Robbie.
Yeah, Flobby's awesome. C theory is difficult. C theory is difficult because really it denies. So if you imagine A theory says something like the present moment is real. You can have like a spotlight theory, right, which is only the present is real. But let's just say in an A theory, the present is real. It's rarely a present moment. The direction of time towards the future from the past is real.
Yeah.
And the order, the sequence, the line of time, the events that are sequentially ordered in some kind of like set, that's real. B theory denies that the present is real, and like eternalism, for example, says that there is no privileged present. B theory, a block universe would also support a B theory, for example, and that's maybe the conflation between physics and philosophy here. Is block theory with B theory, but they're not the same thing. It's just a block theory, and then a C theory denies the direction and the present. So it says there's no present.
Oh, so wait. Can I guess?
Go.
So C theory would be something like it would invoke like that, like bidirectionality is true and like stochastic like equations are true or something like that.
But so the bidirectionality would be like that would be true. I don't know about stochastic. I mean stochastic, but just means kind of to some degree unpredictable.
Can
like
I be honest,
random.
Mitch?
Yeah.
As soon as I said bidirectionality out loud, I was scared that it wasn't going to be right, so I just threw in another word that I knew to make it sound better.
Oh well, yeah, I could see that, but I didn't want to. I don't want to
Okay.
point that out. But I mean, I'm glad you pointed that out. That's so honest.
So like C theory would hold that like cause and effect, like the principle of causality or bidirectionality, like things that you do now influence what you did in the past.
Oh, retrocausality, right? Not so much. So causality is separate from like a theory of time. Like a theory of causality can go with a theory of time for sure. So like you can be like an atheist determinist and kind of, but you don't necessarily have to have an attached. You don't have to have retrocausality in C theory now. C theory is just going to deny. It's very basics. It's going to deny any present moment. So there's no such thing as a present moment, and it's going to deny any privileged order from past to future. It's going to say that like future to past, past to order, past to future, or any kind of conservative order throughout the set would be valid. So you could like skip every 2 events, maybe go back.
Right, any order.
Yeah, any order basically.
Why would people be motivated to believe something like that? Given how like unintuitive it seems right now to me.
Right. More because they're inclined to believe. So A theory, on the kind of like a empirical level, right? We have, like I said, block universe, relativity, that really points towards a B theory. It doesn't support an A theory very well at all, unless you have something like a growing block, which is kind of like a combination between an A and a B theory. It's like the past and present are real, but not the future. But
Okay.
But even then, really, a block universe
That kind of
doesn't
makes sense
support
to me, honestly.
Yeah, but then we have this problem with saying the present is real at all, which is introduced by, and I'm sure like the zeros would be able to do a better explanation here, but basically in relativity there's no privilege present, right? There's no reference frame that you can say this is now, because gravity and energy basically change the way that time passes for different references, different reference frames. And so basically, you've seen Interstellar, right? The whole, if you go to a planet near a black hole, time will pass differently.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I was saying that this is just a real quick interjection, but I was saying that like because of that, because time works differently around like black holes or at relativistic speeds or something, wouldn't that just like say that A theory is just false, but we can still use all our formulas that work with A theory because they seem to be reliable for now?
Yeah, that's the direction it points in, definitely, yeah. So that same motivation then can be applied to entropy as well, because entropy is just so let's say we exclude A theory on this empirical basis.
I would.
And then we look at B theory, which is, okay, well, everything, the past, present, and future are all real, maybe like in a
Yeah.
block universe, but we've still got this direction. We still have this comes after that, even if it's all relative. You still have like I came on this live after I cooked food, for example. So you still have this directionality, but this is because we experience time going forwards. We experience entropy increase. There's no reason why it shouldn't go in the other direction. And so some people would say that anything that justifies B theory is also, basically on shaky grounds. And so you get somebody who's skeptical
Wait.
of B theory. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so what's the reason that it's on shaky grounds again? I guess I didn't understand that.
Yeah, because there's no reason why, bar the fact that we experience time going forward, there's no reason why there should be a privilege to go forward. It seems that all of the laws of physics are time symmetric, so it seems like they'd work perfectly well going
Forward or
backwards.
backwards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's one of the objections. I think he's at Stanford. His name is Matthew Farr. He's a philosopher that focuses on theory of time. And he has a few papers on C theory. And he points out a lot of things in physics that would be better solved if C theory were true.
Oh, really? Because it seems to me like I guess if B theory were true, right? Or I guess if you're sympathetic toward thinking that B theory is likely, and you think that like all events are happening, kind of not in an order, right? Then it seems to why would you think that why would you think instead of them all happening at the same moment, they couldn't just be happening like from a random number generator? Like that's what C theory seems to be saying to me. Is that right? Like
C theory would be almost like, so instead of a directionality to time, you would have
so, Megz, you were not trolling when you said C theory like greater than.
No, yeah, I prefer C theory.
Okay.
C theory is like a betweenness. So you don't go forward in C theory. You're just like this event and we're between these events, but it's not like we're going in a direction necessarily.
It's like
Exactly.
I find myself here, and here is in between,
Yeah.
there and there, but it's not that I came from there to here. Is that dumb?
No, that's it. That's
I don't know if there is a there to here
Yeah.
because
Then
there's no direction.
I guess what would explain? I guess, but it's true. Maybe it's true that time doesn't work like that. What explains like why we perceive time to work like that, and why that's useful, and like why that matters, like evolutionarily or like cosmically, or like, or I guess it doesn't have to matter. It could just be that's the way it is. But I don't know.
I know some people do like to think of time as like a fourth dimension, and it's not going to be the same as like what we are like perceiving in the third dimension in that kind of sense. Whether I can like explain that a whole lot, no. There's just kind of the basics that I've gotten into a theory of time with when it comes to the Kalam and how it relates to that, and then just the stuff that Matt Farr has said, and that's about as deeply as I've gotten into the theories of time.
Mitch, you were saying the questions, the like, why do we perceive time like that? Those questions.
Yeah, and like so evolution is science itself on different theories of time, it might look like different things. Causality might look like different things. Causality might look like different things given different different metaphysical commitments,
Yeah.
So
Causality gets really interesting.
Yeah. So all of these things are really, I guess you can mix and medley a bunch of views together, and a theory of time isn't necessarily going to. You could have like a bunch of different takes on evolution, for example, and why we perceive the present moment the way that we do, and those disagree on the same theory of time, for example. I would just say it's not enough to say that I'm a B theorist, therefore evolution means. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I guess like it's easy to think about like us like pontificating or like deliberating or whatever, like thinking about this stuff, but like if time really does work this way, and it's worked this way, and I'm talking about like C theory. If time has worked the way that C theory like suggests for all time, um, I guess it's just hard for me to intuitively understand why we would expect some like, because it seems like there's something useful in us like in the same way we can't experience certain frequencies of light. It seems like there's something useful, or it either serves a use that is advantageous, or it wasn't needed to pass on, like the traits of like functional stuff, right? And I know I'm butchering my way through this, but what I'm trying to say is like, if time works the way C theory is proposed, I guess it's hard for me to intuit why it would seem like everything is so, from this moment to the next.
I have some of his papers as PDFs if you'd want to read it in voice chat later, because I am trying to kind of remember how he gets around the objection of the intuition of this.
I mean, and if you were to just say to me like, this is just one of those things where intuition is not a good, like a reliable thing, that would be it would be totally okay with me. Cause
Yeah, I wouldn't want to say something like that, just because that. So you might have like you might have relevant doubt. So you may have some reason to suspect that this wouldn't be the case, and that I don't know if that intuition is false or not. I just think when it comes to like what views determine or like what it just underdetermines the view. So for example, C theory is like the widest spectrum. If you imagine logical possibility, if on a B theory time cannot go backwards, then there is there's a lower probability space or smaller probability space than if time can go backwards and forwards on a C theory, or not even go anywhere. It's just any event is sandwiched between like this event and that event.
But it's not the previous event and the next event. It's just some event X and some event Y.
Right. Some event and some event. Exactly. Yeah. And so you've got the widest probability space there. And so, a bunch of beings who could interpret that probability space in, unidirectionally going through, sandwiched events in one direction just seems like a restriction on that category. And so many things could account for that.
Trying to remember how he words it exactly, because he doesn't want to say there's like a directionality or like this came before this, but he almost doesn't want to say there was this event and then there was this event.
Yeah, it's always hard like talking about time because you end up saying words like was or will be or before or like, and all these things like just like are gonna like.
Or yeah, I guess he wouldn't even want to use was. He would just say. This like we are like almost sandwiched between
it like does like this event does or something, right?
Yeah.
It would just be like
pull it back up later and refresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be like there exists an event such that it is between event X and Z. Right?
Yeah.
That would be event Y.
Be event Y. But not X, Y, and Z because like it's in procession. It just I don't know, that's just so I get it, like time is unintuitive and infinities are unintuitive.
Yeah,
Shark.
Talking about the metaphysics of time.
Shark, is that why you sent that to everybody? You want us to read through it and give you objections?
I have your argument in my notes, Sharks, and I'm gonna read it. It's just a lot to read. I have the whole thing. I also agreed with you when you pointed out that like if you have a conditional statement and you just stipulate its modus ponens, like you don't need to like write out the second premise and the conclusion to like for you to be able to understand the argument. And I was trying to tell you through chat that I agree with you. What's up,
I've
Max?
been seeing recently modus ponens is under contention.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
It might not be valid.
Stop talking.
So are you guys talking about the metaphysics of time? Like, what does it mean when we say like was and when and like this came before?
Not really. Like I get how you got that, but we're just talking about like the explanatory powers of different theories of time.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So like the A theory of time and B theory of time, like what's the ultimate
Yeah, but
metaphysics?
we were specifically talking about C theory of time.
C theory of time? Yeah, that one's a little bit strange. I've never really understood that.
Well, I understand it now, and I understand that unlike what Robbie told me, it's not a fringe view; it's the best view. But I don't know why. So I'll just keep holding to B theory because that's the one I can explain.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
B theory is
you can-
easiest. I think that when we're talking about like this happened before this, all we're saying is that this specific three-dimensional slice of this fourth-dimensional object is
I know your argument for this, like
Yeah.
the slice thing, the blocky cake universe or whatever.
Yeah. I swear,
Well,
dude,
Block
it's the
Universe
easiest
would be
thing.
good.
If you ever just for anybody giving the kalam, if you just give that, it'll bypass all of the.
It won't.
You don't even
it
have
won't.
to talk about infinite regress.
They'll say nuh-uh, and then you're back.
Yeah, you're true. Yeah, I guess they'll say no.
Yeah.
But then you could just play the no game, which is the funniest thing to play with
Charlie,
these.
but if modus ponens isn't valid, then if no, then no, therefore
Are you familiar? Like the thing is the sororities paradox or something that it's something along the lines of like I was witnessing like Julian and Mason talk about it the other day. Apparently the sororities paradox may be an issue for modus ponens, and if you reject modus ponens, you hold on. I can actually kind of go read what they said. One sec.
Yeah, can you render that paradox or no?
Socrates paradox is like, have you heard of like heap? Heap versus pile, or
Oh yeah.
yeah. That's that paradox.
Oh okay. So okay, the whole like ship of Theseus. When does a brick become a wall? When does a pile become a heap?
When does a pile become a heap? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey everybody, we're having a great discussion here. If you're in the chat and you're enjoying it, we got 20 people in here. If you could just tap that screen and get them up to 5,000 likes,
I've never modded somebody faster.
Yeah, we might be able to push out to the For You page and get more people in here.
Wait,
with
I just got a
discussion.
notification when I tried to mod you, AC. You know what it said?
What?
It said you can only have 30 moderators. Apparently I have 30 mods. I don't even have 30 friends.
Dude, you're passed around the moderator community. Oh my god.
Okay, well,
Okay, that's crazy. That's a crazy take.
You know what they call
You're
you
no longer a
in
mod?
the philosophy debate community? I'm the Zeros.
What?
They call you the yellow light debater because you get ran through.
Hello.
I've been saving that one for
I didn't know
later.
there was a debater community.
I know you didn't get an invite.
This guy. You think you're so funny, huh? You think you're so funny.
I
Huh?
think I'm a little funny, but you only have to be a little funny and a little clever to be, you know.
Well, I guess you can attest to the second objection to that.
That's true. Wait, so I'm gonna try and guess why the heap pile thing is a problem for modus ponens. There's some ambiguity. So if I were to modus ponens that paradox, right? If there's this many grains of sand, it's a heap. There are this many grains of sand, it's a heap. And then if there are this many grains of sand, it's a pile. There are this many grains of sand, it's a pile. Is it just like there's so much ambiguity there over like?
I don't know if it's that because what they were talking about, Kane chimed in too. It was a little funny. Kane was like, well, you can just, instead of just like rejecting modus ponens, you can just take to dialetheism.
Holy shit. Fuck off.
You can what?
Hold the
Kane was
dialetheism.
trolling. Kane was trolling. But
Hold a
then
dialetheism? Okay.
Mason kind of came in and said, well, if you reject modus ponens, you could still actually end up having to deal with the Sororities paradox anyways. Like it could just be recaptured. And
Can you
Can you
guys
just
do
be
me a
like a
favor?
nihilist as to like how categories exist? Like
but under
Can
this,
you guys never let P Mars hear about this? Like, please. We can
I
talk
want
about
to
it in
read on
private.
it. I don't know if there's anything to this.
If you see that P Mars joined the chat, just ixnay on the Otis.
I'm gonna look for
Conan's
papers
nay.
right now.
Yeah. Are you eating a cream cheese bagel right now, Megz?
No, I'm eating a vegan breakfast sandwich.
I was pretty close.
P Mars the same person as Precept Mars?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
He don't like
I just posted a
Probably
TikTok
not.
where I didn't know who Slurms was yet, and he was on his troll account, and I sang karaoke at him before I knew who he was, and Rob kicked me, and then he busted out laughing in the Slurms laugh, and I was like, this arrogant Christian, I'll show him, and now we're best friends.
Bro.
I know. Also, I have a TikTok that I was going to post today where I asked P Mars what God he believes in. I didn't even know that about him yet. It was crazy.
Lee Slurm's actually a theist.
No.
Slurms is, yeah.
What?
Slurm?
I thought he was an atheist or an agnostic. Sorry.
You're
The
done,
first
man.
time you and Slurms got into a room together, I was like, Zach and Slurms in the same room. This is gonna be this is chaos, but it's good chaos.
Dude,
was.
you know who was in that live? It said I guess P Mars hadn't done a face reveal yet, and at the very beginning of my first ever debate with P Mars, evolved as saying W P Mars face reveal.
I think I talked to Slurms at one point. He was talking about how unity is like, for instance, when all of your senses detect an apple, and there's that unification because all of your senses are detecting the same apple or something. And we were talking about how that applied to all of the transcendentals, as you put it. There needs to be unity among those. Like I simply just don't understand the connection.
Oh, I mean that's fine. It would take too long to explain right now, but it does make sense. And
I'm so far seeing. Sorry, I thought you were done. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Yeah, you always talk when you want, so go ahead.
I'm so far seeing it may fail for conditionals whose consequence themselves are conditionals. There might be
that
more
makes sense.
than that.
Yeah, so if this many things of sand, then it's a heap. This many things of sand, therefore it's a heap. The first it's in question whether I don't know. That's hard to talk out loud about.
I wonder how inductivists have approached this. Like if you don't take it to be if you take it instead to be like the inductive case, I don't know. I don't know actually. That's like every previous grain of sand. Is it more suitable for the inductive case? Every previous grain of sand has not made a heap, therefore the next will not.
Yeah.
And then I just accuse you of like a black swan fallacy, and then when we get to the heap and we both agree that it's a heap, I mean, when we get to, whatever, the next stage and we both agree, then I would say, well, now you're clearly wrong.
Well, yeah, it would be some kind of like threshold induction principle, right? Or like, well, because what you said, Mitch, just scared me because it sounded like you just replaced grains of sand with time, and that's my exact worldview for a past eternal universe. But I'm not saying that therefore it will never be a heap. I'm saying like, if each grain of sand, right? If one more grain of sand isn't going to make it a pile, right? Is it reasonable to believe that the next grain of sand will not make it a pile? I think the answer to that is going to be yes. But we can agree that when we look at a pile of sand, at once it was not a pile. So we have to admit that there's some threshold.
Right.
And I think it's okay to not... Because it's not like people are using language that way either. Like if you ask somebody to define a pile of sand, they're not going to give you some count number. It's going to be some like proportion or dimension or like, you know what I mean? Like if we're trying to map out the proposition, right, that they're referring to, it's just going to be the case that like what's going to fill that criteria for the definition isn't going to be some number of grains of sand. And I don't know what that says about like, do there need to be any grains of sand at all for it to be considered a pile of sand? Probably that's going to be. I mean, that's going to be some of the, the essential properties of a pile of sand. But
Yeah.
I think wouldn't it just be like kind of a general number, even if there is some overlap between the two?
yeah, but the thing I'm trying to point out is like, if I ask you to define a pile of sand, I don't think you're going to say any numbers at all. You're just
No,
gonna be
it would just be like it wouldn't be necessary. I don't think it would be a number of grains. It would probably just be like, if like instead of sand, let's think about like a wall and like bricks to make it
Yeah,
like
yeah.
easier. Like when is how many bricks is it required to make a wall?
Yeah.
Right. Like for instance, there isn't a set answer. I guess I don't view categories in the same way. Because you could technically say that there is some overlap between a wall and one brick, but they're
No, I would say that's a
it's probably
composition
considered more of a wall if it's more bricks.
Are you just saying you would maybe say something like enough to create a barrier rather than like a certain particular set of numbers?
Yeah, well, I guess I kind of picture categories like that based on what other people have sort of related the symbol of wall to. So like, I mean, if somebody puts up like a bunch of mini bricks or something, and it's like a 10-inch tall thing of little tiny mini bricks, right? We wouldn't say, well, because there's just as many of these bricks as like a massive 10 brick wall, then like, for some reason that makes one a wall and the other not a wall. I think it's probably just like categorically, what has this word been sort of applied to in the real world? And would I think of this as more of a wall or more of a brick?
Does this touch on essence too? Because I can imagine so like a pile of rocks is going to be like tens of rocks, but a pile of sand is going to be like hundreds of thousands or something. So like pileness isn't really determined by the quantity. It's like it's going to be cashed out in some like how much space it takes up, I think. For the sand
like
thing.
generally, but there isn't like a set like this is how many it needs to be, right?
Yeah.
Just like
I'm tempted to tag Mason and just have him tell us why he rejects.
I mean, you can like I understand, like I agree with you guys about like his like attitude, right? But I do respect Mason's like philosophical knowledge a lot.
He's well read.
Yeah.
By the way, is Slurm's thing, because here's just my guess on what he's saying. Is he just saying that like?
Wait, Jolly,
as
one
for
second.
all the-
Jolly. Slurms is an atheist. He's just a troll.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And I was trolling you by being like, well, obviously that makes sense. You're just not understanding it, but I don't want to explain it.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I just kind of like whenever Mason's in a room, I like grin and bear it because I also am mean, but I'm not. I don't think I'm mean in a like a way where I'm really trying to hurt somebody's feelings. And I think Mason is really like just like, like this person is an idiot. But when I say it, I'm like, yeah, you're just an idiot. I don't know, but
I like Mason. I've seen a lot of Mason's
There's a
clips.
difference
He's
here.
very knowledgeable.
yeah, you see the difference? Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
But sometimes I will say, and like one time, I was talking to somebody and I said, "Listen, I'm not joking. I'm trying to hurt your feelings here. You're an idiot," and I felt bad for that, but
Oh my
Aw.
goodness.
can't be helped.
Can't be helped. I don't know about that.
I think it can be helped.
I don't know. Sometimes it's just nice to talk to people who've already read on it, rather than having to go because I already have my priorities of what I want to read right now, and I can't just like throw this in there. It would have to come later, and then I'm going to be hesitant about modus ponens till then.
Dude, I bet Prezit could answer this question pretty easily.
How?
True.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, I have him on speed dial.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
I think
I keep him on a pretty. Wait, Danny might know about it.
Hey, Danny could probably answer this or have
Danny,
some
we have a
insight to
question.
this.
If you're still
Is this
here.
Danny Field Talk?
Yeah.
No
Wait.
way. Seriously?
Wait, is he like known or something?
Shut up.
Stop.
Is he still here?
I don't think so. I think he was just scrolling by. Yeah,
Uh,
Yeah.
that's fine. I
You know,
screenshotted
we
him
can
following me.
let's tag Danny later.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Wait, he came back, right?
No, I think it's just still there from. I mean, I can check. There's 14 people in here. I doubt Danny's one of them.
All right.
Now there's this nice clean line next to the panels, and I like this seam right here.
Well, want to go to the gym? Okay.
Hey, next time mute, okay? We're not trying to.
You don't want to hear about the gym?
have you ever heard of Loki's wager before?
Yeah, I've done a lot of low key wagers.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I grew up poor. Yeah.
Well, basically, the way it goes is so. I think the story goes Loki makes a wager with the dwarves, and he makes some kind of bet, and then Loki says, "If I lose this bet, then you can cut off my head," and the dwarves say, "Okay." So then whatever happens. Loki loses the bet, and the dwarves are about to cut off Loki's head, but then Loki is like, "Wait, hold on a second. I said you can cut off my head. So if you cut off an inch of my neck, I said a millimeter of my head or my neck, then the deal's off." So then the dwarves are sitting there for hours and hours and hours and hours debating on when his head starts and when his neck ends and when his neck starts and when his head ends. And eventually they can't figure it out, so they just let him go. So I think that's kind of like the idea is like there's not a set idea of when this thing becomes something else. The categories are kind of just messy where, some things are kind of other things and there's some overlap between the two.
Yeah, it's like where does rhetoric end and bloviating begin?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm a skeptic, so I just don't really care about the problem. I think it's like there is no problem. It's fine.
Yeah, it's same. Like as far as like how it's gonna affect me living my life, I never think about it, and I'm gonna use modus ponens until I DYE. But
well, I wonder. This is it. I wonder, like, even on a non, if I weren't a skeptic, could a problem be found sooner than skepticism? And so it's like, so you could render sorority's paradox as an inductive case, I think, and in doing so, I wonder if you could. You could talk about like sororitical predicates, in the same way Goodman talks about. So have you heard of like the puzzle of induction rather than the problem of induction?
no,
I've never heard of this before. No.
Ah, damn. Okay. Yeah. Maybe I need to like pick Cainby's brains, but
Mitch, you're great at doing this. Please talk about it.
So in induction, there's the big problem, which is like that's almost like baseline lazy skepticism to just go for the idea that there's no way to justify that just because all previous Fs have been G, right? All previous frogs have been green, let's say. The next frog will be green.
Right.
There's nothing to really validate that, but that's how the scientific method works. That's how we come to knowledge, apparently. So there seems to be something like deeply skeptical about our knowledge then. If we can't justify it because, I mean, if you've not heard of that, like Hume's problem of induction, then you might think there are replies, and but I would just say like I've not heard a single one. I'm not an expert, so maybe.
Yeah, but wouldn't you be touching on like credence there instead of like knowledge?
So credence and knowledge connections are going to depend on your theory of knowledge. Sorry,
Yeah,
go
so
on,
like
Max.
you could say that like for every F there has been G. For the next F I see, it'll be G. And if we could just read your mind and your thoughts were portrayed perfectly accurately, if you just meant something like, I have good reasons to think it. I'll adjust the data if it's not. I don't. What's the
Probabilistic.
problem with that?
Yeah. So if you were so the issue is that if you were to do some kind of probabilistic analysis, if you were to do it on a frequentist basis, so like just enumerative, right? I've counted 1,000 Fs that have been Gs, and therefore the probability, is this, and therefore the probability of finding the next will be that. That still kind of relies on this inductive principle, right? That just because it is the case that you found 1,000 in the past, that means you're going to find one in the future. So that to me still seems to rely on to depend on uniformity, right? The uniformity of nature, that the past will continue, the future will continue to behave like the past.
Yeah.
So the frequentist view doesn't seem to work. And if we do like a Bayesian thing, well, I just don't think that even gets off the ground, because I mean, the whole point is that you update a prior, but how do you know the prior how do you know the prior can be updated unless you're saying that, well, this type of evidence updates the prior based on past experience. So
and then it's going to be the case of like, what made you arrive at that prior,
right?
And it's going to just push the problem back.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like introducing probability. I mean, there are like Bayesian replies, but I just don't think they work. I think they all presuppose the principle of uniformity, which begs the question, which is exactly the problem of induction, is that you can't justify it without begging the question.
I don't understand. Like, I guess from a perspective of like, is it cool to think about? Yes. Is it cool to act as if it could be some other way? I don't know. I don't think so. Right? Like, let's say that tomorrow the sun turned off, and right before enough humans to repopulate the earth went on, the sun turned back on, and let's say that was like, I don't know how long it would take for that to happen. Let's say like for the sun was off for 7 days, right? And so we have to find out a new thing about how the sun works, and we can't find out what it is. And then in like 13.4 billion years from now, let's say somehow the human race is still around, right? And to the T, it turns off again for a week, right? I think at that point we will be able to like make a hypothesis that like, okay, in another 13.8 billion years, if this new model is correct, we will expect to see it turn off for a week or something. Does that, you understand what I'm saying?
I'm a little bit lost. I might know, but I don't want to.
Yeah. So basically, I know that you were replying, and that's fine. Tomorrow sun turns off for a week. We don't know why. We're updating our models, but it seems like it doesn't ever happen again. And then time travel into the future, 13.8 billion years to the second, sun turns off again for the exact same amount of time. At that point, even though there's only been 2 instances of it ever happening in the universe, I think the first hypothesis that should be made is that in 13.8 billion years, it's going to turn off for 7 days again.
Yeah. So is this like I guess, so a clarifying question might be, is this like, are you saying that we can have betting attitudes and that we can have, because to say it's a good hypothesis would just be to beg the question again, right? Because it's only a good hypothesis.
Wait, say that last bit again?
To say that it's a good hypothesis that the next time the sun blacks out, it will be for, the same amount of time as last time, is to use induction again, right?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be a justification, but
right. No, I was just saying. I agree with you, but I was only raising that to say that like thinking about the problem of induction is interesting. Behaving as if like one day nature could behave radically differently. I don't think would you think that that's useful? I don't think that that's useful. And I was using the sun turning off tomorrow as an example of nature suddenly acting radically differently.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Max.
I'm not entirely sure what I want to like chime in with here. Are we saying like this would apply for things like the laws of nature, or just like, well, just because we see the sunrise every single day doesn't mean that it eventually will, and we do have justification for that. To like, okay, so, and as far as like, we do know eventually that the sun's gonna like black out, but we'll also be like destroyed. The Earth would be destroyed in that process, like, or we'd be gone way before that, or whatever.
Well, so I think it's more like correct me if I'm wrong, Zach. I think it's not like the sun blacks out because of natural processes. It's more like an interruption in natural law, right? So it's but yeah.
Whatever causes us to say that like the Earth spinning is going to make the sun rise, right? Okay, the sun rises, and then at like 11:33 a.m., right, it just blinks out, right? Or like, and we look at it, and it's still there. It's just no longer like reacting, like, right, because it's like plasma or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then in like 13.8 billion years, to the second, it happens again. I'm saying like, even though it's only happened twice, which is like the least, the worst case for induction you can have, right? I think that the best hypothesis from that point, right? It's going to be a long time till it pays off, but say like, let's see if in 13.8 billion years, this happens again. And at that point, we can restore that there's like some uniform way that nature operates. It just has these fluctuations that happen on a scale that we can't really comprehend in a human lifetime or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something like that could be the case, right? And our best bet. See, I see. So as a skeptic, I still assent to claims, right? I still have some kind of affirmative attitude, even if it doesn't affirm in such a way that places a proposition in like a truth bracket, right? It could be like, I don't care if it's true. It could be useful. It could be usefulness. Pragmatism is also a claim about things that were useful will continue to be useful in the future. It might be the case that one blackout is actually completely different from the other, and just they're just not, induction just doesn't hold here. But in terms of a bet, so I stole this from Kane B like a couple of years ago, from his YouTube lectures as well. It's something like if you have betting attitudes, if you have something like that you have 4 possible worlds. You have 2 possible worlds in which the uniformity of nature is actually false and induction is false, therefore, and then 2 possible worlds where the uniformity of nature is true. And in each of those 4 possible worlds, you take 2 possible attitudes. You either are a counter-inductivist or an inductivist. So you either believe that induction is true or useful or something.
Right, so it'd be like a Punnett square of you being right or wrong, and then in the other one, right or wrong, but it's flipped.
Right, exactly. There's only one possible world in which you win, right? The world in which induction is true and you deny it, you clearly lose. And in any world where induction is actually false, then you lose anyway.
Yeah.
So the only world in which you win is the world, seemingly, where you are an inductivist and induction is true. But again, that may rely on the law of rely on induction.
Mitch,
but
how is that not just Pascal's wager, but for induction?
Yeah, it is. Basically, it basically is. There's only one world in which you win here, so
and that's kind of like what I was saying. Is like, I get it that it's not like the jury's not out on whether induction is like the new craze or whatever, but like acting as if tomorrow, if you've seen 1,000 GFs, the next F you see is going to be not G. I think it's just kind of to say that you have certainty obviously is wrong, but to say that it's likely is like, I think it would be dumb not to. Right? And I think that's where the fine line between like fallacious reasoning and like good reasoning is.
Yeah, for sure. And
do you not agree, or?
No, I do agree. I'm just a skeptic, so I would just like I would actually agree with the problem of induction. I would just say it's true, or it's true, false. It's true, false, and everything in between. It's just clearly there is a problem. If you don't want a contradiction in your worldview, or if you want your worldview to be ultimately justified, then induction nor deduction will get you there. And so really all you have is mysticism, which I don't think gets you there either. So it doesn't seem like any means of human reasoning is in any way how can I in no way proves itself or doesn't contain a contradiction. If it proves itself, if it has some way of validating itself, it's circular, right?
Yeah, but is there a problem with that?
I mean, so if there is and there isn't, right? I mean, it depends on what you want in your worldview.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind using.
I guess if there was a worldview, right? I can't imagine one, right? But if there was a worldview that was, at its foundation not circular and true, I guess you would prefer that one over one that like had some axiom that was like tautological or something.
Yeah, well, if it's true and not circular, then it's gonna have. There's gonna be no way of knowing it's true, basically.
Do you have a problem with like circularity in general when it comes to like maybe like you want to make like a foundational claim or something?
I have to go,
Or
but
do
thanks
you
for having me.
only when it's vicious?
Bye, AC. Wait, what, Meg? Are you saying like, do I know the problem between like vicious and virtuous circularity?
Yeah.
I know that like no. To answer simply, I don't know what's the the essential properties of something being vicious versus virtuous, but I would love to hear about it.
Okay. No, I was just trying to see if you guys. I kind of zoned out a little bit, and I didn't hear the case in which what we're calling circular is here. But I was
presence here, so if we want to get a good understanding.
Okay. Well, on that note, I asked Kane if he can talk to us about the modus ponens stuff and the voice chat later.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna go to the gym now. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye.
Have a good night, guys.
Good night. Yeah, Mitch, you're like really good at like bridging the gap between like knowledge gaps.
Oh, thanks, man. That's yeah.
Retro phrenologist. Hello. Hello.
Hey.
Hello, are you here?
Hey, Mitch, do you know a lot about quantum stuff?
I don't know what a lot. We were just talking about Socrates' paradox. I don't know. I have a bit of information. I don't know how many bits it takes to make a lot.
Well, I'm just wondering about entanglement, because I've never figured out once two particles are entangled if it's really difficult to have them unentangle.
No. So entanglement is really difficult to maintain. And the way that particles will typically become entangled is that they will come from the same source. So particles decay; they can split, right? And when they do, you get two particles from one, and when they split, they're entangled by nature because they come from the same. Because of the conservation of the laws of physics, things like charge, momentum, these properties of particles will be conserved, and so if something splits, it has to split even, or at least it has to split conserved, and because they're conserved, they're entangled. Similarly, when you have like electrons, right, in shells in atoms, they have to correspond in such a way that there's a conservation, right? One has to spin up, the other has to spin down. I don't know if you've heard of that. That's basically it's called Paul's exclusion principle, and it's basically just a law, right? But these things are very easily messed with. All it takes is a break in that conservation. All it takes is interaction, basically, and that entanglement is lost.
Cool. I've been waiting to track some science guy down to ask him about that. All right.
Yeah, no problem.
Well,
They have to be
Mitch is
similar
more
kinds of
like a
particles,
science communicator. He's not like a scientist.
Well, he knows a lot more about science than I do. The particles have to be the same sort of particles, right? It has to be like electron to electron or proton to proton, right?
Sorry, I was distracted by
I
being
said
a mere communicator and not a communicator and scientist. I'm a researcher, you know. Crying.
I have a degree.
Hey, it's not the degree; it's the research that counts. It's the research.
I was just asking if the particles that are entangled have to be the same sort of particles, like electrons to electrons, protons to protons, or does it have to be even smaller than those?
So there will typically be like antiparticles, but so you can have like an electron and a positron, right? Or you can have electron. So you can have different species of antiparticles and particle pairs be entangled as well. I don't know if you could have something like I guess, yeah. You maybe have to ask somebody in the field. I'm unsure if you could have something a bit like exotic, like
Yeah, run away. This is what they do.
Oh damn! Sorry, I got a notification from my emails. But yeah, no, you'd have to ask somebody in the field. But I don't know when that message popped up. But yeah, you could have like electron positron, which are different, right?
Yeah.
Or you could have electron, which are the same. I don't know if you could have something like electron neutron, right?
Okay.
I don't know.
Because I don't know if you've ever heard of this sort of Roger Penrose has this thing he's working on for information surviving after death I think it's called Orc-Or, which is very strange.
Orchestrated. What is it? Orchestrated. It's basically a collapse, a wave function collapse theory, right? It's interesting. I don't really know too much about it, but I mean, interpretations and models of quantum mechanics are just, they're all.
Yeah, it's not going to get you an afterlife, is it?
No. Oh yeah, no afterlife. Yeah. No. All-CoR is about should you know in quantum mechanics there's an echo. I tolerated it for like a hot minute, but it's hurting me now. Sorry. Yeah. There's so Roger Penrose, his orchestrated what is it? Objective reality something. I can't remember what it stands for, but I think it's a wave function collapse theory. So a theory of how when you have a superposition in quantum physics, how observing that causes it to collapse, and the consequences of it. I don't think it entails an afterlife at all. There may be something else called quantum immortality that you're referring to, and that's more like the idea that if something like a multiverse, like an Everett interpretation of quantum mechanics is true, so there are many worlds, right? If something like that is true, then if the probability space is infinite, or at least that every branch has an infinite variation, then it's likely that you survive in at least one branch every time you would have passed away in others. So basically, if you do somehow skip branches, then there will always be some version of you probabilistically that survives. I think that's a really badly formulated argument, but quantum immortality is what that's called, not Orc-OR. So I don't know if it's the same.
Finally, somebody in the comments who knows what they're talking about. Yeah, I think he recently changed his name from Mitch the Human to Mitch the Scientist. I don't know really what that is.
No, that's just my other account, bro.
I'm just kidding.
I've got 11 accounts. I've got like 2011 accounts.
Really?
Yeah. I've got a few. Yeah. I'll follow you on all of them. So
I gotta hop off, but this was a great conversation.
Oh, you going now?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Take care.
I have quality time to spend with people that I care about.
Oh yeah, same. I should get to that. All right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just to be clear, I'm running away. Okay.
Okay. Just say hi to your left hand for me.
Oh,
Okay,
bye,
yeah,
President.
President. Listen, you are the weakest, whiniest little sniveling sack of